Okay, today we are installing the Agile Offroad onboard ARB compressor set. And so what you see here is what's included. And so we've gone through and make sure the parts included are all there, and then we've kind of laid out all of our tools that we need. Get properly prepped for the job. And even some new ones like glow fish tape. Why not? Sounds like fun. And ultimately, we're going to be coming out here with the onboard air and your switch. So we'll get into that here directly. But what's interesting is this is where it mounts. We're going to fit all that right in there. So should be a fun install. A little bit of work to get some of this stuff out. But yeah, looking forward to it. All right, so we're going to start with our T25. We're going to remove this one and this one, and we're done with those. Come out, and we're going to grab this last one that's a little bit of light there, but opposite of your console. And then, I don't know about y'all with carpet, but this panel pops out once you take your WeatherTech out or whatnot, your floor mat, and then you'll see you just pop these back and take off these 10 millimeters. This is you won't see this in every vehicle because I think this is a battery bracket for holding your battery down. Other things to note: you've got your drain plugs, and you've got just a ground here should you ever need one. It's going to be interesting to see how many things we can find that are fun in this thing. But that's going to take this panel out here. So we'll get to that. Okay, interesting note. To get this next cover off, you've got to get down to these T50s. But man, they are in the worst possible position because if you try to line something up, they are covered by this bar. So this little wrench will not do it. So what I did is go down to a 47 at a little bit of an angle. And you can get it. This one's particularly difficult because if you don't pay attention, you can get the Torx bit stuck in there one way or another. So you just got to rock it and be really gentle. But that's what I did, is go down to a 47 to pop these out. And again, when you're putting them back in, it's a cover. It doesn't have to be torqued to a ridiculous amount. So just hopefully that'll help you. All right, so then next we're just going to pop. Let's get in focus here. Pop these off. You can see they're just, I kind of got these ahead of time. We're going to just move this over here. And then there's this one. I just popped off of this. Well, it says this slides forward. So let's take a look. We'll mess with that here in a second. All right, so the directions show the removal of this piece here as being pretty easy. However, it's got to be a different trim piece when it comes with the auxiliary battery, because this sucker, I ended up having to push it under these crossbars over here and then end up bending it enough so that it would pop out, because it has this big trim piece. It's not really shown there, but anyway, that was my worry, is that thing would be in the way, and obviously you can't get into this compartment with that there. So you're gonna have to be forceful if you have the additional battery. I didn't want to disconnect it and mess around with it. So I think that was a reasonable compromise. I think it'll be interesting to see how getting it back in place will go, but I'm sure we'll get there. All right, so the next thing we do is pop out these T40s. I set them in here. Look at the quality of this hardware, pretty badass. Anyway, then pull and lift this piece out. You just get under it and kind of, you push it this way, or you can just kind of pull it out. Set that aside. Then you're going to take this out with a 10 millimeter, set it in your bin. It's this long one here. That thing is long. And then you're going to pry this back, and just, this one's odd because it really holds on pretty tight. So it says to seal this back. I bet we're going to run our hose through here. Anyway, that's where we're at here. Alright, so now we're coming around to the back. Again, we're going to take that T40, knock these two out, and then we'll come down. You'll see these covers. You just use your thumbnail to get these out. Super easy. 10 millimeters, knock these three out. You're good to go. And then essentially pull this panel back. I'm going to play with that a minute, but first I'm just going to pull this up, get this out of the way, give me something other to pull on so you can kind of hear it snap. But I'm going to pull this directly back. Watch this line, that's the parting line, and then of course probably down this area is what I've got to be concerned with. But this whole panel's coming out, so I'm going to use both hands on that one. Alright, you probably want to grab it here and maybe here. Put your fingers in and pull it. And what you can see is there's what holds it in there on those three. And the rest comes down pretty easy all the way. And you can lift this out, but you can see all your snap fasteners. Now this one's trying to go a different way, so we'll just push him back in. But that's how they should look. So, and keep an eye on these. These are live, so you don't want to come across that with a screwdriver or anything. You'll get a big surprise. So avoid that area. Also look around. You got a ground here. My arm's in the way, but really be careful with what you're doing over here. A lot of times people want to run wiring down into here to go to the back, which I'm going to do here shortly on a different project, but you just got to keep in mind that's pretty hot. Alright, with the panel off the back, you just want to go and double check all of your areas. That we can see, like we've got one missing here. Alright, all of our latch points, these again are where your 10 millimeters are coming through, right there. We fixed this one earlier that was off to the side. So the missing one is sitting right here. So we're just gonna get this guy and pop it off and not lose it. Yeah, that would be nice. And we're back. So this we're going to take out. We're going to be doing some cutting on this, but that's a little bit later, as that's where we're going to come out with our compressor line and our switch. Okay, the next move is to install these spacers. So these are 1/2 inch off, and they're going to end up, going here. These studs here and here, and this one's going to be on the floor, and the next one will be here, and that's for the compressor mounts. So I'll take these studs, put them on here with some Loctite, but first I'm going to torque these down to, they say 22 on them, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, getting this thing's pretty tricky. So you're going to go in here, and then you got to move this bracket out to see it's in there. You got to loosen these up. Don't undo them, just loosen them. And that allows you to swivel that and then get to that bolt It's having a, right there. And the other one, man, it's having a hard time getting it right there. And so that's pretty tight. We're gonna have to retighten these 4 millimeters. I ended up having to use this 13 millimeter small one to get in there and get a crank on it. But what you really got to look at when you've got the extra battery, or I don't know if all of them have this, but it's real tight through here. So you just got to make sure that nothing's rubbing on your power line. And so I just kind of worked on that a little bit. The rest of it will go over here, and we'll get that tightened up, figure out what angle, but it does move back and forth. So all right, okay, with the compressor all set in place, what we're going to do is start routing the wiring. I routed most of it under here so it's clean. This power comes up, move that light, comes across here and actually on the furthest stud as per the directions, but it just made it easier to come in at an angle based on such a thick wire coming in there. Then the ground is also in there. Let's see, down here you see that green labeled wire, that's the ground, that's where that goes. And then your other wire I ran under here. I wasn't taking this whole entire cover off to the other side, and you can see where that goes in there, and it has to be specifically placed like that per the directions. So you'll have to notice which end the wire goes in, the contact that's furthest aft. So all right, so finishing out the layout, you've got to connect your air hose, hold on to the base with a 5/8 and then a 9/16 to connect this, and then routing. I have it routed, it's hard to see under here, but it's over this area, and then coming up alongside. You can see it in there, the yellow striped black wire or black casing, and then the other hose is in there. Oops. And that comes around. I use this glow in the dark fish for that. And then as you come up here, you zip tie all of this stuff up. So again, we're not messing with anything near tools near these because they're live. But yeah, ultimately this is going to sit here. Again, connect to the back of your ARB panel, and this connects to the switch. The switch will be the last thing you install through the panel. Okay, for the panel on the back, you just tape it up and do your layout based on in the instructions. You get a little template to cut out, set that in there. I use the Dremel to cut out the square. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but just make it nice. 1/4 inch. This allows the bolts to have screws to have a little bit of freedom behind there. This is your backing plate, and then this is the cover and the supplied T25 screws. So I'm going to put all that together, and notice I'm not putting in the switch because I want to run the wiring through that, and that'll be the last thing to snap in before we put the panel in final place. All right, this is the final look. When it's all installed, got everything put back, covers back on, and you've got this little light that is indicated when the key is on. That gets you up, you're ready to go. And it's simple as that. We've got these kits in stock, so if you're interested, we can install these here in Statesville, North Carolina at Design Build Go. Thanks for watching.